the players agreed to resume the season in Orlando, but right now we're kind of at an impasse right now because Kyrie and Avery Bradley and others on the lows, like I know Dwight Howard as well, have been kind of leading a coalition of players to question the resumption of the season because their main thing or their main argument right now is like if we go back into the season, it's going to distract us from the change and the protests and everything that's happening right now in our country. We're in unprecedented time. Like we have to seize the opportunity. So, Mukhtar, do you feel like the season could resume and at the same time the issues can be addressed, or you feel like it can't happen?
I see from both point of views. I see that if the season resumes, that it'll just give players like there'll be microphones in front of each player, and they'll be able to say their piece. So from what we've seen in the media right now, the coverage of the protests has been waning down a little bit, even though it's still going on in full force in most cities. So I understand that the movement comes first, but putting a microphone in front of these players that have the voices to share with all the media who are there, and there are hundreds of millions of followers on all their social media platforms, it could put more coal into the fire and make sure that this movement keeps on going.
In the racism point, where it's like Kyrie and Dwight Howard were speaking about like, yeah, we're all one in unity and what's not, is like racism is something we've been dealing with our whole life, right? Since world began. And it's like there's been a lot of scenarios where a black guy been getting shot by a white guy or other stuff that's been going on throughout the world. And it's like everything was still going on within that situation. I understand right now is like, yeah, it's very serious because the pandemic came, so nobody was really focused on anything else. And then this came, so like now the scenario switching to this. But at the same time, it's like you can't create an excuse that because this is what's going on and we're trying to be one, that I can't really do what I love to do or something that I'm actually getting paid for. And I feel like that's where like I feel like some people in society are naive because they want everybody to have the same mindset. Like pretty much as other black people, we need one same conclusion and that's it. But at the end of the day, it's like even though I'm black, it's like I'm still seeing like two different point of views. Like, yeah, I understand that you're doing this to show that we're unity. This is the only time this could happen. But at the same time, it's like it's your job. Like if the NBA gets canceled, look how many people won't be able to get paid. People that do food, venues, like all that type of stuff. Even the players won't even be able to get paid properly. And that mess up the whole basketball community, and the economic of it is going to be very bad.
And I also heard that if the season gets canceled, like the league is allowed to reopen CBA negotiations. So that's also going to be a huge mess up because you don't know if you might just end up having a lockout next season.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing for me, like, it's just kind of weird. It's just the fact that they want to push the NBA season very early. They want to push it December 1st, and they want 82 games within that period of time from December 1st all the way to next year of June, I think, because that's where it ends. So maybe in that situation is like the players won't be able to like it based on like what's going on with the pandemic. But we're talking about like just racism, trying to get into the community was not like for me. I don't see it that way. Like I disagree with like what Kyrie and stuff are trying to do.
Well, okay, let's get into this because right now you've seen Steven Jackson and Stephen A. Smith are kind of going back and forth about this. Steven Jackson he made like his first point was like, yo, it's his higher ups talking because Stephen A. Smith was like, yo, look, we've been dealing with this for a long time. We might as well get back and could address it. You know, I haven't seen no game plan from Kyrie and his coalition. What plans are they trying to do? Steven Jackson was like, yo, look, don't listen to these people. They're trying to push the season back because they're whatever depends on it, the ratings and whatever. Mukhtar, do you think like they both like Stephen A. Smith and Steven Jackson both have a point in their argument?
Yeah, I haven't been following First Take too much since I gave up after
Mhm.
they had nothing else to talk about since the Jordan documentary. But I understand what, like, Stephen A. Smith can't really come out as one of the highest earners of his network and
Mhm.
denounce the fact that the NBA season is resuming, because it would be putting basically ESPN out of stuff to
Mhm.
talk about. They already have nothing to talk about. So if they
Mhm.
their biggest earner starts pushing for the season to no longer resume, then they're just going to be in hell of a trouble. So like he probably has a script that he has to stick to, and
Mhm.
um, but he is also, from his point of view of like having a microphone in front of the players, I think that's generally what he believes also. So yeah.
Mhm.
What I
Chris,
also
what do you
think
think?
about that, yeah, what
Mhm.
I also think about that is that when Stephen A. Smith was talking, he was saying how like Kyrie and like those type of guys, like they weren't really communicating like with the higher people. So apparently, I was kind of hearing that like Chris Paul wasn't in those calls or Adam
I
Silver
heard that.
wasn't in those calls, and it's like not like the way like Stephen A. sees it, but not really Stephen A. Like multiple people in the society, they see it okay. Like if Kyrie's trying to express his opinion without really talking to those guys, like how does that look on him? Because
Mm.
like he doesn't really have the final say, right? It's Chris Paul that
Mhm.
does, and it's like if you're trying to express your opinions and say, yeah, this is what should happen or this is what should happen, you should have a discussion with people that are above you, not people that are below you, and trying to act like, yeah, I'm the one that's trying to run the thing. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I understand like these athletes have platform, but when even though they have those platforms just for them to speak, but the way
Mhm.
sometimes they do it, um they're trying to bring a narrative that whatever they're saying is correct, but at the same time,
Mhm.
there's different type of scenarios that could go on into that.
Yeah, and also I think like Stephen A. Smith has a point though. It's like, yo, if you're gonna be making all this noise, you better be coming with a full blown plan of what you want to do instead of
Mhm,
having an NBA season. Like you can't
mhm,
just say no NBA season and not
mhm,
have a plan, right? Like it wouldn't
mhm,
make sense because Stephen A. Smith was bringing up so like different policies he would want enacted. Like you could bring up policy and push for policy while also having the NBA season. And I feel like
mhm,
if Kyrie is gonna make this big move, which I believe I understand where he's coming from. Like
mhm,
honestly, I agree. I agree on both sides. Like I'm not even biased because I don't really care too much if the NBA season comes back because it's been gone for so long. Like I feel
mhm,
like
Yeah.
it should just start
mhm,
again next year. But
mhm.
regardless, like they both have points, and I've seen people come at Stephen A. Smith like calling him again sell out, whatever. You can't say that just because a black man has a different opinion, man. You
Yeah,
can't.
that's what I'm trying to.
Bro, that's the
Yeah,
point.
yeah, that's right. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like every time, like when something happens with like pretty much like the black community, is like they always want us to have the same mindset. Like, okay,
Mm,
this is what we have to do, and this is what we have to stick on. But when they hear a black man trying to not defend like white people or what's not or different colors, just trying to defend the situation, trying to actually like open the lights to people, that's when they start getting
mhm.
at him and they start saying type of stuff that we shouldn't be hearing. I don't know.
Final topic I want to bring up, like, because I've heard some people say, would Kyrie even be saying all this if the man was like if him, KD were both healthy and they
Mhm,
were both battling for a championship? What do
mhm.
you
No,
guys?
that's actually a great point. But it's like for me, like Kyrie's been like I don't want to say weird, but like he's
You're wild.
been yeah, like he's just open minded in a sense. So like
Yeah.
he likes to express his opinion. So it's like
Hmm.
I don't know. I personally think if he was really contending for a championship, I don't think he would have said a word because it's like he wants the ring, right? He's trying to play for the ring.
Oh
But
man.
the fact that right now, like he's hurt, he knows he's not going to play. He feels like he could say whatever he wants, and because he feels that he has a fan base, like his fan base
Hmm.
will just follow whatever he says. But in reality, it's like, yeah, understand that like you're trying to bring your knowledge, but sometimes your knowledge, like if it doesn't have a plan in it, like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Kyrie's like a
Hmm.
black sheep. People take whatever he says with a grain of salt because of his recent history on and off the
Hmm.
court,
Hmm.
like him almost retiring basically and whatever. So,
Hmm.
no matter what he says, people are gonna criticize him and wouldn't really listen to the message he's saying from either side. But if, for example, Chris Paul, like the president of the NBA Players Association, came out and said that, then it would have a lot more weight to it because people know Chris Paul as somebody who has rational think. No, not saying that Kyrie is irrational, but like Chris Paul usually makes decisions that are better for the Players Association since he's the president for so long.
Yeah, it's just I feel like why they kind of agree with Kyrie, because Kyrie apparently in a meeting, I'm not sure, he was talking about like keeping everybody safe at first, and then after that, that's when he brought like the excuse that because of the racism stuff, that's why we shouldn't play either. And it's like at the end of the day, it's like he's playing both sides at the same time. So it's kind of tough for them. It's kind of tough for his fan base to really understand where he's trying to go at. But it's like I can't really be biased about the situation because it's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think they both sides have really valid argument. Like I don't even either or. I'm fine with the decision. I think ultimately they're gonna come back, but I'm good with both decisions regardless.